The world is holding its breath tonight. Tensions in the Middle East have exploded into open conflict, shattering a fragile peace. Financial markets are in freefall, and leaders are scrambling for emergency meetings. We are witnessing a significant escalation between the United States and Iran, with explosions and anti-aircraft fire lighting up the night sky. For millions, the threat of war is now a terrifying reality. The world is on edge, and the next few hours could determine the fate of the Middle East for a generation. The spark was an ultimatum, delivered with Donald Trump's signature confrontational style. He demanded Iran dismantle its nuclear program and cease support for proxy groups within 72 hours. No negotiation, just a demand. The message: comply fully or face consequences of unprecedented magnitude. Trump bypassed traditional channels, addressing the world directly via social media and television. International observers condemned the move as reckless, arguing it left Iran no room to back down. European allies, blindsided, warned this approach would destroy diplomatic pathways and make conflict inevitable. The 72-hour deadline passed with no word from Tehran. The world waited for a last-minute breakthrough, but none came. Instead, the silence was shattered by news of Iran's preemptive strike. Trump's hardline didn't force surrender. It triggered a violent counterattack and plunged the region into chaos. The gamble for peace has become a catalyst for war. The world now faces the consequences. Iran's response was bold and unexpected. Instead of a symbolic strike, Tehran launched a complex offensive targeting the Strait of Hormuz, the world's oil lifeline. Swarms of fast attack boats assaulted commercial shipping, while anti-ship missiles streaked across the sky. Amateur video shows fireballs and burning ships lighting up the night. The strait, once a hub of commerce, is now a war zone. Iran's goal: demonstrate its power to disrupt the global oil supply and inflict economic pain. The attack extended beyond the sea. Cyber attacks paralyzed Dubai's port and airport, grounding flights and freezing trade. Drone strikes hit key financial hubs, spreading panic far beyond the Gulf. Iran's asymmetric warfare combined low-tech swarming with high-tech cyber attacks for maximum disruption. The burning tankers and paralyzed infrastructure are a testament to Iran's strategy. Tehran has answered Trump's ultimatum with a dangerous show of force. The Middle East is now ablaze. The world is watching, stunned. In the aftermath, leaders on both sides issued defiant statements. Trump, from his command center, declared Iran's attack a grave miscalculation and promised swift justice. The United States will not tolerate these acts of aggression. Justice will be severe. In Tehran, Ayatollah Khamenei responded, "The great Satan has revealed its arrogance. Iran will not bow to pressure. This is only the beginning." An IRGC commander boasted, "The Strait of Hormuz is ours. We have turned the Gulf into a graveyard for their ambitions." The U.S. Secretary of Defense, standing before regional maps, called the attack coordinated and unprovoked. "Our forces are on highest alert. We will restore order and ensure those responsible face the full force of the U.S. military." Both sides claim they did not seek war, but neither is backing down. The rhetoric is escalating, and the world is bracing for what comes next. The front lines are drawn not just in the Gulf, but in the halls of power. Each statement raises the stakes. The conflict is no longer abstract. It's personal, immediate, and dangerous. The world is left to wonder, who will blink first? The next move could change everything. The clock is ticking. For millions in the Gulf, life has changed overnight. In Dubai, fear has replaced luxury. Sirens echo, and drone strikes have shattered the city's sense of safety. The cyber attack on the airport has stranded thousands. Supermarket shelves are empty as panic buying sets in. Along the coast, residents wake to black smoke on the horizon. Fishermen are stuck ashore, their livelihoods in limbo. "We ran outside and saw fire on the water. We've never seen anything like this," one resident told us. Expatriates are desperate for guidance. Should they stay or flee? Companies urge employees to work from home. Schools are closed indefinitely. The vibrant social life of Dubai has vanished, replaced by anxious silence. "We came here for opportunity and safety. Now, we don't know what to do," a British teacher said. The psychological toll is immense. Uncertainty and dread have replaced the certainty of tomorrow. The conflict is fought not just on battlefields, but in daily life, cyberspace, and financial markets. For Gulf residents, survival and family safety now matter more than prosperity. Their homes are the new front line. The human cost is only beginning to emerge. The world's reaction is swift and deeply divided. U.S. allies in Europe express grave concern, calling for immediate de-escalation and emergency UN meetings. Germany warns, dialogue, not confrontation, is the only way forward. Russia and China blame the U.S., calling Trump's ultimatum reckless and a violation of international law. China warns against further military action that could destabilize the region and threaten global energy security. In the Middle East, Israel stands firmly with the U.S., calling Iran a threat to the world. "We fully support decisive action to neutralize the Iranian threat," declares the Israeli Prime Minister. Saudi Arabia condemns Iran but avoids inflammatory rhetoric, wary of escalation. Smaller Gulf states urge calm and offer to mediate, desperate to avoid catastrophe. The world is fractured along old and new fault lines. Each nation calculates its own risks in a crisis spiraling out of control. The stakes have never been higher. The global order is being tested. The UN headquarters in New York is now the center of frantic diplomacy. Secretary General Antonio Guterres pleads for restraint, warning of catastrophic human and economic costs. There is no military solution. The time for dialogue is now. The Security Council's emergency session is tense and divided. U.S. and Russian envoys trade accusations, paralyzing any unified response. Humanitarian organizations, like the Red Cross, warn of grave danger to civilians and demand respect for international law. Civilians and vital infrastructure must not be targeted. We appeal for immediate access to the wounded. Despite these pleas, the machinery of war grinds forward. The international community is more spectator than referee. The UN's failure to find common ground exposes deep geopolitical rifts. Aid groups prepare for the worst as diplomats make impassioned speeches. The calls for peace are drowned out by the rhetoric of confrontation. The world watches, hoping for a breakthrough. The window for diplomacy is closing fast. The economic shock is immediate. Oil prices skyrocket, stock markets plunge, and global trade is paralyzed. Insurance for Gulf shipping is now astronomical, strangling commerce. The world's energy supply chain is exposed as dangerously vulnerable. In the US, Trump's base rallies behind him, but critics accuse him of reckless brinkmanship. The crisis dominates headlines, fueling a bitter debate over foreign policy and presidential power. Across the Middle East, proxy groups aligned with Iran are emboldened. Hezbollah rockets target Israel Houthi drones, strike Saudi infrastructure. Governments brace for spillover, fearing a regional conflagration. International alliances are strained. Trump's unilateral approach has deepened rifts with NATO and Europe. The West is fractured, Russia and China are emboldened, and the Middle East is more volatile than ever. The ripple effects are global, touching every corner of the world. The political and economic fallout is just beginning. The crisis has changed the world overnight. As February 9, 2026 ends, the world stands on a precipice. The next 24 to 48 hours are critical. Will the US launch a limited strike or escalate to a full-scale campaign? The scale of the American response will shape the future. A massive strike could trigger all-out war, shutting down the Strait of Hormuz and plunging the global economy into recession. Human suffering would be immense, with millions displaced and neighboring countries drawn in. The conflict could fuel extremism and destabilize the region for a generation. The world waits, ultimatum given, counterattack launched, the chessboard on fire. Decisions in Washington and Tehran will have global consequences. The hope is for restraint and a return to diplomacy. The fear is that we are witnessing the start of a devastating new chapter in Middle East history. The world is watching, hoping for a last-minute pullback from the brink. The stakes could not be higher. The next move will define a generation.